What's going on, family? How you guys doing today? My name is Aaron. I go by the name of Aaron Real Talk. Thank you guys for rocking out with me again. Hey, make sure to like, to follow, and share one time for the algorithm. Today, the Wall Street Journal has just published an article asking the question I've been screaming for years. Are therapists to blame for the rise of adults cutting off their parents? We're going to watch this clip and we're going to come back and react.
Wall Street Journal headline is asking, are the therapists to blame for the rise of adults cutting off their parents? It lays out a new trend of therapists leaning into people justifying breaking ties with family. Here's part of it, quote, they're encouraging estrangement as a means of self-care. Proponents of the trend hold that advising patients to consider a cutoff from a close relative or spouse they deem toxic or unsupportive can protect their mental health and allow for emotional growth. Meanwhile, critics say that encourages self-centeredness and self-delusion and ruins families.
Are therapists to blame for the rise of adults cutting off their parents? I need you to sit with that headline for a second, because this isn't some TikTok mom with a ring light anymore. This is the Wall Street Journal. This ain't the green sheet. This is mainstream. And they're finally asking the question out loud. Guys, I'm Aaron, and this is Real Talk. Let's get into it. So the article opens with a woman, and I'm going to call her by her first name, Shoshana. She's 42. She goes to see a therapist. Somebody recommended this therapist to her. So she insists, and she trusts them, right? Good credentials, comes highly recommended. The second session, y'all, session 2, this therapist tells her to cut off her mother completely. And here's the part that gets me. Shoshana says something like, it was said with such authority, she just followed it. She didn't question it. Why would she? This is a licensed professional. This is someone she's paying to help her. 2 sessions, y'all. That's it. That's all it took. And a relationship was done that had existed for 42 years. Let that sink in. Let that sink in for a second, because I guarantee you, if you're an estranged parent watching this, you didn't get 2 sessions with your child before the silence started. You got a lifetime of showing up, and then one professional opinion undid it all, right? But here's where it gets real. This isn't just one story. The Wall Street Journal cites a survey conducted this past April by a therapist named Peter Anderson. Of about 7,000 estranged parents, 1 in 3 of them believe their adult child's therapist either recommended the cutoff or influenced it. 1 in 3. That's not an accident. That's a pattern. That is a system. And Anderson says something that I want parents to hear clearly, because this is where the whole ball game changes right here. He says a lot of therapists are trained to take what the client says completely at face value. They're forming their entire professional opinion off one person's account, one side, no cross-examination, no conversation with the parent, no context. Y'all know what that is? That's not therapy. That's a one-sided trial where the parent doesn't even know they've been charged with a crime, let alone get a chance to defend themselves, right? Now, look, I want to be fair here, because Real Talk isn't about being one-sided either. Y'all know how I roll. There are cases where a cutoff is right. No, they need to cut off their parents. Abuse is real. Danger is real. Some parents genuinely need to be kept at a distance for someone's safety and healing. Even the article says that most therapists agree sometimes a break is justified, especially in cases of real harm. But that's not what we're talking about with a 2-session cutoff recommendation based on one person's story. There's a therapist quoted in this piece, William Doherty, professor at the University of Minnesota, and he says the quiet part out loud. He says cutting off a parent should be the tragic exception, not standard operating procedure, not default advice. The exception. He also says something I think about all the time. We live in a culture right now, 2026, that treats everything like trauma. Every disagreement, every imperfect moment, every you hurt my feelings in 2009, it all gets rebranded as trauma. And once something is labeled as trauma, right? Once something is labeled as trauma, cutting off the source of that trauma starts to sound noble, instead of what it actually might be, which is running from discomfort instead of doing the harder work of repair. I didn't lose my kid because I was some monster. A lot of us didn't. We lost access because somewhere along the way, someone in a chair with a notepad decided that walking away was healthier than working it out. And look, let's look at the numbers, y'all. You look at the numbers on top of this, over 25% of young adults in this country have been estranged from a parent at some point. That's a quarter. And that's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence happening in a vacuum. That's happening at the exact same time therapy culture shifted from let's repair this to let's protect your peace by cutting this person out, which I love that phrase. Protect your peace. Y'all know I wear the phrase on my hat. I wear it all the time. But protecting your peace was never supposed to mean erasing people who love you. It was supposed to mean setting boundaries within a relationship, not deleting the relationship entirely. Somewhere that got twisted and a whole industry cashed the check. All right. So here's my real talk for today. If it took your therapist 2 sessions to convince you that 30, 40, 50 years of love and history needed to end, that's not insight. That's influence. And influence dressed up in a license and a framed diploma is still just one person's opinion. It's just one person's opinion about someone they never even met. Right? That's the key. Hey, listen, if this hit home for you, drop the word authority in the comments. I want to know, did a therapist ever tell your child it was okay to walk away from you? I read every single one of these. And if you haven't already, go check out the full article. It's from the Wall Street Journal, Elizabeth Bernstein. She wrote it, and it's worth your time. Hey, listen, guys, my name is Aaron, man. I always appreciate you guys rocking out with me. Like I say, make sure you hit that like, the follow, the share button one time for the algorithm. I appreciate y'all with all my heart, and God bless y'all, man. Thank you guys so much.